Hi there, good evening and welcome to your Friday night edition of Gersnet. It's your Rangers podcast, which is made by fans and for fans. And tonight it's Scott Patterson taking you through the next 30 minutes or so. Where we look at the game tomorrow. Of course, St Johnstone come to Ibrox tomorrow. We'll do a little bit about Todd Cantwell, who rocked up to Ibrox this week. And fine fettle, we have to say. We'll speak about Raskin. Is he coming? Is he not? Whittaker, same boat. We'll do a little bit about Edmiston House, and something I never thought I would say in a podcast. We might even do a little bit about AC/DC. And joining us to speak about it all tonight, I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Gary Valentine. Hi Gary, how are you?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
Yes, very well. AC/DC, I've seen your eyes light up there.
Yeah, big AC/DC fan. Been to see them a few times.
Brilliant. So the announcement today would have been right up your street then, eh?
Well, my phone actually never stopped this morning as soon as it happened, and they're like, "Oh, Kerry, what do you think of that?" And I was like, I'll wait till they sale before I buy any of the tat.
So listen, what I want to speak to you first about, Gary, is we obviously have a game tomorrow to look forward to. Ibrox, first game in a couple of weeks at Ibrox, first game in a couple of weeks on grass, which I think the players will be really delighted about. But before we get to that, obviously, big day tomorrow for the football club with the opening of Edmiston House. Loads of work that's went on there for what seems like a long time now, to be honest. Part of the area seems to be available for people to go back and forward to tomorrow. From the football club's perspective and from ourselves as supporters, great to have that facility there, and great to know that the money is getting used for that area properly.
Yeah, looks a business. I watched the video the club had gave earlier in the interview with Bisgrove, and can I say that as long as it's not completely open yet, it's good that they're opening it. I'm quite surprised at the kind of 24-hour notice. I thought maybe been, especially the way we like to build things up, you'd think we would have made a bigger deal of it.
Yeah.
I'm quite eager to get in myself and have a wee look about, and once the museum opens as well, get through.
Yeah, listen, it'll be really good to get in and have a wee shifty around it. It sounds like it's massive by all accounts. Shop over 2 floors, sort of a coffee area if you want to go for a coffee. There's obviously the sports bar that's in there as well. The museum, which we know over time will become available, and it'll be used as a concert and sort of conference venue over time as well. So lots going to go into that. And I think just generally, really exciting for the football club, and good to see that area being used in a proper manner and fashion, and something that goes alongside the sort of best in standard ethos that we've been hearing about for the last wee while. St Johnstone tomorrow. Rarely do we play a team home and away in a sort of consecutive weekends back to back. Of course, we were up at McDermott Park last weekend, Gary. Perth was a bit of a quagmire, I think it's fair to say. St Johnstone coming to us tomorrow. I think Bale's had a really tough time since he came in. First half performances in almost all of the games that he's taken over haven't been great. Last weekend was no different. I think tomorrow's the opportunity to get the boys on the grass on a good surface and really show what they're all about.
Yeah, I think you said it was like single digits how many times he's actually had the full squad of players available for training, just due to like recovery and things like that, and the amount of games we've been playing. So I think this is his first full week that he's not had a game to deal with. So I'm quite optimistic that we'll see a couple of different things that he's not been able to coach, because I think one of the things he said was he just kind of went back to stuff that they'd done before, not necessarily his own ideas, but things they'd done before that a lot of the players were familiar with. So I'm looking forward to a good game, and see a couple of players back for injury, new signing, so hopefully we'll get to see them all and get a good win.
Listen, you're right. Crucially, it is his first sort of Monday to Friday with the players on the training field. He doesn't have that interruption, in air commas, as having a game midweek, where they're basically their prep for the game is so much smaller. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see a sort of bounce from them having Monday to Friday to prepare for the visit of St Johnstone tomorrow. One thing I think
I don't think a lot of fans maybe understand how, especially nowadays, how teams prepare for games and then how they recover for games.
Yeah,
actually going and doing tactical work if you've got a game midweek doesn't really happen. So I'm hoping I see some new stuff maybe not seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Curiously enough, Gary, one of the things that Michael Beale, has taken a bit of stick for is this goalkeeping rotation that we've seen back and forward. And I think everyone largely admits that in the summer we are going to see a new number one come into the football club, which I think is good. I think it would be the right call. I wonder who you think will start in goals tomorrow.
Probably Alan McGregor, to be honest. I still think he's the best at the three.
Yeah.
I think he's in a kind of no-win situation because him and McLaughlin have made kind of high-profile errors this year, and I don't think the defence is necessarily confident when they've got either behind them. So, as I said, if Rangers are at home, the goalkeeper shouldn't be tested much, so it shouldn't really be a problem no matter who it is.
Yeah, indeed. And interesting to hear, of course, he's referred to Robbie McCrorie very recently. I wonder if McCrorie was fit. We know he's not. If he was fit, if he would be closer to sort of getting that jersey. You can only play one keeper, of course, but I do sometimes wonder if there would be an opportunity for Robbie McCrorie to slot in there. I'm not entirely convinced that there would be for him, to be perfectly frank. As much as I would like to see him given an opportunity, I'm just not sure that it would come just now. I almost think that we are going to see this sort of rotation of on-off between McLaughlin and McGregor. And the worry, of course, is, as you rightly say, they have both made errors of late. One guy who seems to be revelling, of course, and Beale coming back up the road is Ryan Kent. Really good vein of form he's on just now. Maybe no coincidence that his contract is getting ran down. I'm curious to know, where would you sit as far as offering Kent a new contract right now?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I really like Ryan Kent. You've seen what he's done on a run up to Seville. So the performances, that's what he's capable of doing. And if he was to leave, I think it would cost a lot of money to replace him. And hopefully his relationship with Beale helps keep him longer term. And I feel guys like Kent, even Morelos, you could say as well, they'll maybe get an agent or that trying to say to them, can go here, get this amount of money, things like that. But they'll go and it will not be a bigger club. No. You know what I mean? They'll maybe go for more money, play every week, things like that. And you wonder, like, if they want to be happy and enjoy their work, it's maybe not about money, so they're well paid anyway. So I'm hoping that they maybe say to themselves, kind of like look at the bigger picture of what they've got and know, look, maybe 6 months down the road, especially when you see what's been reported today with Rebo and Bassey. They've been away a few months and they're kind of getting criticised for their performances or not being selected in the Rebo's case. So fingers crossed Kent, but Morelos as well signs.
It's true what you say. The grass indeed isn't greener on the other side. I was very interested to see the I think it was the Dutch guy Perez. He slaughtered Bassey. I mean, ripped him apart. Absolutely tore him a new one for wanting to use an industrial term, which I was really surprised about. The Bassey I always felt when we had him was reliable, versatile, because we knew he could play left side, either at left back or the left side, centre half. Was really reliable and was like a bomb going forward, very, very sort of pacey moving forward. And it's just not happened for him in Amsterdam for whatever reason, I don't know. I think
they've changed manager though, haven't they?
So they've changed manager now. My understanding is Ajax manager was bumped last night, but I think the guy that was bumped last night was a different manager to who signed him in the first place. I don't know, I may be wrong. But I saw some bits and pieces on Twitter suggesting that we should get the band back together and try and get Bassey and Aribo back up the road for the second half of the season, which of course
certainly wouldn't be against it.
Nor would I, to be perfectly honest with you. Of course, Joe Aribo's numbers gone. He would need to battle Rabi Matondo for 17 again, which would be exciting.
Matondo would probably miss the target if he tried to swipe for him.
One thing that has happened in the last week, of course, and I think as we will come to Nicholas Raskin and Malcolm Whittaker shortly, and we've welcomed Todd Cantwell into the club. Of course, he's arrived in a sort of, I don't want to say a blaze of glory, but I think, the build-up to Cantwell coming in, I think a lot of people looked at him and thought he's a bit of a spice boy. You know what I mean? This guy looks like he likes himself a little bit. I don't think there's any doubt that he's oozing with confidence. However, I think when he done his unveiling at the press conference, I think everyone was quite pleasantly surprised. He's a confident kid, not overly cocky with it, clearly believes that he's got loads of ability to come up and make a difference. But I think, curiously enough, is that he sees the opportunity at Ibrox a chance to maybe get his career back on track again.
Yeah, it's kind of, as I've said many times, English football isn't really my thing, so I've not really heard of him before. But a lot of people were saying that when he first broke into the team, he was an exciting player, broke into Norwich. He was getting spoke about big moves. I've watched a few of his videos for his time at Bournemouth and also at Norwich, and some of the goals and things like it was scoring was absolutely phenomenal. So if he can bring or find that form again with Rangers, I'll be really, really excited.
I think technically he looks a really clever player. That's the one thing that sort of got me out with the ball at his feet. He looks very capable. And I think playing the way that we play just now with almost two centre mids, if you like, and the four advanced can do as they want, particularly the three behind the striker will rotate and move left and right, sit centre. Ryan Kent's a prime example. I think Todd Cantwell fits into that position or any one of those three positions really, really well. I do hope we see him tomorrow at Ibrox. I think it would be, he's actually spoke about how different it'll be for him to maybe play with 50,000 fans behind him when he's at Carrow Road with Norwich. I don't know what the capacity is for Carrow Road, but it'll certainly be nothing near to 50,000. So to be playing tomorrow at Ibrox and maybe get the opportunity, I imagine he would come off the bench. I'd be surprised if he started. But I think to have that behind you for a boy at 24 who's maybe not played with that sort of number supporting him, I think that'll be great for him, and for the fans, I think it'll be good to go and see him, an attractive prospect to see playing at Ibrox. Number 13, which of course was a wee bit surprising. And I think that the fact that he's picked number 13, he said something in the press conference to say it was something along the lines of, I've picked 13 because everyone associates with 13 would be just being a rotten number, let's be honest. But he kind of flipped it the other way and thought, well, it's an opportunity for me to create a legacy around the number 13 at Ibrox. And I like the cut of his jib, Gary, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, to use an AC/DC song, he's got big balls. So, yeah, like the only 13 I can think is Anthony Niemi, when I think that was 1998, 1999 when the squad numbers first came around. But yeah, that shows the confidence the guy's got. And I said, see everybody that doubts him and that, I hope he proves them all wrong and he's as good as we'll hope he can be. Yeah,
absolutely. One other guy who we think we may see tomorrow, who is back after a long injury layoff. Good to see Yanis Hadji. I think in the first instance, he's been in the training pitch for the last couple of weeks now, so we know he's been in and around the squad and sort of involving himself on the practice pitch in the squad for tomorrow, which I think is really exciting. Penny for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst thoughts, by the way. All these new players are coming back from injury. But Yanis Hadji, and I don't want to sound very sort of stereotypical, but I'm going to, will be like a new player again.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the cliche that it was like a new signing. And but my only kind of worry is it's great having him back, talented player, but where's he going to play all these players who are similar? Not forgetting Lawrence is still to come back as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know what Hadji can do. We know he wants to be at Rangers. We know he loves it at Rangers, and I just hope that he doesn't have any relapse with his injuries, because that is just their luck. Somebody with a bit of talent and gets a bad injury and then they never really fully recover from it. But yeah, it'll be good to see him even get 20 minutes or something tomorrow. Hopefully we can get the game wrapped up and we can make the kind of changes, see Cantwell, see Hadji.
Really exciting to have even those now I appreciate we'd probably be using these options from the bench, I get that, but from Bale's perspective, he must be really quite excited that he's got that talent to just turn back and look at the bench and think, do you know what I mean? Can I throw Todd Cantwell on to make a difference? Can I throw Yanis Hadji on to make a difference? And probably not obviously weaken the side, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You're sort of taking off good and putting on good, as opposed to maybe taking off good and someone weaker is maybe replacing that person. So listen, I think it's great. One of the guys that's been linked that I think fits the profile similarly to Cantwell and Hadji, Sakala, is Morgan Whittaker, the well-known Twitter man Fabrizio Romano jumped onto Twitter today to say that we've went in for another bid for the Swansea sort of front man Morgan Whittaker. Mick Beale in turn denied that in his press conference this afternoon. So someone is playing it cleverly and someone's got it right, I think. I think this boy Whittaker fits a profile that Michael Beale is trying to encourage and promote at the football club just now, and that maybe means bringing in players that haven't necessarily lost their way but have real pedigree and potential. Rangers-ise them, if you like, and then 3 years down the road, sell them on for a sizable profit with any luck.
Yeah, definitely. I said he seems one of the players that can play in that three behind the striker again, so it's another one to try and fit in there as well. But it makes you wonder if guys like Arfield and that maybe be the end of the season for them, they'll be away because we can't carry that many players. He certainly looks exciting. I think he was the top scorer in League One or for whatever team it was with, their top scorer. So obviously playing with Rangers a different ball game for League One football, but see that these guys have had a bit of potential, maybe fell away a bit. If Mick Beale can coach them into regaining that, then it's win-win for everybody. And says if, especially these guys that are English, they'll have their eye back down south, maybe get a good fee for them, then we can reinvest into the squad.
It's amazing. One of the things that I've thought recently when we've been linked with players, as I say, have eventually regained a level of match fitness. I do wonder if we're not going to sign Malik Tillman in the summer. Just based on the players that we've brought in, who we know are now effectively players. Cantwell's now a Rangers player. Hadji's now back to fitness. We think Lawrence will be back. But I would argue perhaps not before the end of the season, but you'll get him next season. I just wonder if they'll do anything on Tillman on a permanent basis in the summer. As good as he is, I just wonder if they're maybe thinking that a little bit further ahead and thinking, well, if Bayern Munich wants 6 million for this kid, while we think it would be good money, can we spend it elsewhere? So that'll be one to watch. And as players continue to get matches, Hadji, Cantwell, if these guys sort of hit the ground running and play really well, the question of do we need Malik Tillman at the end of the season maybe becomes quite a prudent one. One of the things I think we almost expected this week, Gary, and there's been loads of noise over this kid for about the last year or so, with Rangers, is of course Nicholas Raskin. Plays traditionally as a classic six, great passing ability, able to sort of thread balls between the lines, all the good things that you expect. And everywhere I think I saw the last week or so suggested that, do you know what I mean, this deal wasn't far away. Sort of everyone was sort of nodding the head. The issue was only between Rangers and Standard Liège as far as agreeing a fee's concerned. Michael Beale's kind of, I worry, he's put that theory to bed a little bit today. He was quite sort of clear when he said that we've not agreed a pre-contract with anyone for the summer, which, if you take that in face value, you score out the first rumour that you've heard, because everyone kind of believes that agreement's in place and it's just down to whether Rangers and Standard Liège can agree whether he comes now or comes in the summer. It sounds like that's not in place after all. But Rangers, it looks like, are playing ball. Apparently they've offered, I'm sure I saw, was it 500,000 euros, and they're looking for north of 1.5 or something like that. So there's a bit of ball to be played between now and Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it'll probably go to the wire if we're going to get him, possibly the same way with Whittaker. At the end of the day, we can't be held to ransom. It's quite it's easy for fans just to say, oh, it's just another million or whatever. Yeah. That could be the difference, say, £1 million later on for a new keeper, for example. So I'm not overly worried. I trust the people that are there to get it right, especially when it comes down to fees and things like that. We will have a value that we think somebody's worth, and if people are wanting more than that, then I'd happily that we looked elsewhere. Because I dare say there's not just one player for that position we're looking at. There'll be a list of maybe five players for every area we're looking for And if we can't get the one at the top, we'll just go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one, until we finally get our man.
It was interesting to see friend of the Gersnet podcast, Chris Jack, was speaking today on the Rangers review, and seemed to be quite relaxed about it. He seemed to be able to refer to his contacts in Belgium, which suggested that everything was okay. If we weren't going to get much news by maybe Tuesday morning, it would maybe suggest that there was a banana skin in there somewhere, but he did seem reasonably confident that something was going to happen. I know that Patrick Caskey, one of our contributors, is also a big fan of Raskin, and has been banging that drum for a wee while. Curiously enough, I'm sure I've seen something. I seen something this week. The last midfielder that we've actually forked out money on was Charlie McCann, who of course disappeared this week to Forest Green Rovers to be managed by Duncan Ferguson. Which, if you haven't seen the interview with Duncan and the guy that looks after Forest Green Rovers, that'll be an interesting relationship, I think. Gary, have you seen that this week?
I have. It's interesting. So I certainly wouldn't want to be the guy that went to sack him if it doesn't work out.
Absolutely right. It was particularly interesting to refer about Chips being vegan, which I thought was quite amusing. And we should, of course, say Charlie McCann, wish him best of luck. Of course, departed the club this week, down to Forest Green Rovers. So it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on. But he's in with good people as far as Duncan Ferguson's concerned. One thing that we obviously get closer to now, Gary, is the end of the transfer deadline. Tuesday is the day when it slams shut, without sounding like Jim White. We know about Cantwell being in. We know about interest in Raskin and Whittaker being very, very real. Do you expect maybe a curveball to appear between now and Tuesday night?
I do. I think he'll sign a striker.
Yeah.
I also think somebody will go away. There's talk of Kamara tonight, possibly going away, but I wouldn't be totally against that. See, we're on that side of the park, we're pretty busy.
Yeah.
So losing a couple of bodies there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I think Man City's just scored.
Have they? Is that
1-0? Aye.
Brilliant.
That's why I'm sitting on the floor watching the TV. But yeah, so I think, like he said today, Michael Beale said today when he was talking, he says, you are talking about two guys that have been leaked for the other side. Says you suddenly got the leaks that the other guys were talking to. So yeah, I'm quite confident you may get another couple of signings. Maybe certainly a striker. I think we need a striker.
Aye. Listen, I think that's entirely fair. I don't think Morelos is in great form. Roof, from a reliability perspective, we can happen. And Cholak, I still think there is an element of uncertainty over whether Cholak actually fits into the way that Beale wants to play. So I think over the fullness of time, we'll see if that is still a thing or not. But it'll be very interesting to see if he does indeed look to bring in a striker between now and Tuesday night. I wouldn't be adverse to it myself. You mentioned Glenn Kamara. Of course, the story that sort of bounced around this afternoon was that Seville are interested, apparently 1.5 million for a loan between now and the end of the season, with an obligation to buy of £11 million. So I would suggest, if that offer is put on the table, that Mr. Bisgrove will go and get Glenn Kamara wherever he is, at whatever time he is, and he'll take him to the airport. Because
that'll be a hood over the head and
absolutely
drag him into the van.
Absolutely. I mean, that's like, we all know about how cheap Glenn Kamara was got for. 50 grand, of course, from Dundee. If we could make anything north of 6, 7, 8 million, it's a huge deal for the football club, isn't it?
Definitely, and that's this transfer strategy we keep hearing for those above that we're trying to accomplish. So a lot of people might still be stuck in the 90s and things like that, and Rangers won't sell their best players, but the world we're in now, we need to.
Yeah. And
we'll probably kind of come onto this with the AC/DC thing if we get onto that. But got to remember, Parkhead's got 10,000 more seats than Ibrox. So for talking's sake, it's £500 a season ticket. There's £5 million they start above us straight away. So we've got to find out ways to try and even that money out. So if it means selling players maybe when people don't want them sold or too early or whatever, when they're signing longer term contracts, we need to do it because we need to do anything we can to try and compete with Celtic because they have got that wee advantage over us.
Aye. I mean, I think from our perspective, personally, it's about pressing the button on the players at the right time. There's no doubt that 3-4 of our players that are still in the squad now, we could have made a tremendous profit on them had we sold them after 55. Kent, Morelos, Goldson, perhaps. I find it really incredible that we've never had an approach for our captain, considering his numbers going forward. I find that bonkers, to be honest with you. Borna Barisic, we could have made money in the past.
Barisic is one of the ones I think of.
Yeah, absolutely. More so when we've got Ridvan there, and he's obviously not fit just now, but you would like to think when he is fit, he's going to battle Borna hard for that left back berth, surely.
Yeah, actually, my gut feeling is that this will be Barisic's last season as well. I think he's just at that kind of age. I think he's like maybe 29, 30.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things I know Beale did at Queen's Park Rangers was he dropped the average age quite drastically their squad. So I think he'll probably do that with us as well. And when you see the kind of age brackets, players that we're getting linked to, I think that's the strategy he's going for.
Interesting you say that. Ryan Jack now, of course, jumping into the final sort of 6 months of his contract, did say in his presser today that there's been no discussions with regards to extending that to date. Bearing in mind the rules that we need to follow, if you like, for European football, having the sort of Scottish-based, Scottish-trained players, I think giving Ryan Jack another year probably is a bit of a no-brainer. Whether you'll agree with that or not, I think it does keep him as that Scottish person for the European squad.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think Ryan Jack would be against that.
No.
Like, why would he want to say go down south for a season or two at his age as well? Can he?
Yeah.
If he plays his cards right and keeps a level of fitness, he could probably get another couple of years at Rangers and can get a move to another SPL team after that. So,
he's almost one of these guys I could see going and sort of playing in the States for a couple of years when he's finished at Rangers. I don't know why. It doesn't strike me as someone who would want to go down south to play, but I can almost see him sort of going across the MLS and having a crack at that over the fullness of time. We shall see. But as I say, I think that for next season, I would fully expect him to get another year. Gary, we know that West Ham and Iron Maiden have got one of these crazy deals where I believe there's a sort of West Ham merchandise. It's got the Iron Maiden name and logo on there. There's scarves, kits, hoodies, hats. We've of course done the same today with the AC/DC announcement. I think it took everyone by surprise a wee bit because every time you got that notification on your phone, they said Rangers were releasing this, so you were kind of waiting on someone to say, "Oh, it's another signing, great." And of course today the AC/DC thing came out this morning, and we've released a range of clothing cleverly modelled by John Lundstrom and Scott Arfield this afternoon. You'll have seen it. I've no doubt you've been saving up for a day like this, and you'll be going for it.
Yes, if I could have picked any band in the world to get a partnership with AC/DC, that's right on my street.
Not Little Mix then, no?
No, sadly not. I was a Joe Gardner fan when that battle was happening. But yeah, in all seriousness, this is what we said before. Any avenue we can get to make a wee bit extra money. If people, I know people are sick of all these ranges for Castore and everything, but
yeah,
people are going to buy it. It's got Rangers logo on it. People will buy it. Makes the club some money. I don't really see the problem. Fingers crossed, at least a gig at Ibrox. That's what I'm hopeful of. I wouldn't
it's a dream for you, isn't it?
That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. But so I was going to crack a couple of gags about Malcolm and Angus Young's dad being a Grand Lodge master or something, but I didn't want Celtic fans to take it too serious.
And they will be watching, let's be honest, you know what I mean? So,
definitely.
Listen, one thing I think we should say, and James Bisgrove gets a bit of a doing sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly, but his job primarily will be to fill up the bank with pennies.
His job's to make money. That's what people
right.
don't understand.
Aye, absolutely right. And I don't think there's any doubt by him doing this. Whether, do you know, I almost wonder if the timing of this, probably, if they had announced this maybe at the beginning of the transfer window, it may not have created the furore it did, because now, for the last 2 weeks, all we've heard about is Cantwell, Raskin and Whittaker. So every time you see Rangers are announcing something, you're expecting or hoping it's going to be pre-contract agreement, or we've agreed terms with this guy or his club. So I think when we saw this morning an AC/DC sort of connection and link up, I don't think it went down too well. But from a business perspective, I think you're absolutely right. Bisgrove is effectively doing his job and doing it well.
Yeah, I think that one of the main issues people have is that there seems to be a lot of things that the board and like that side of the business don't do well, especially when it comes to like fan communication and things like that. Yeah. They're constantly just throwing out things, wanting money, and like fair enough that the board put a lot of money into the club and that, but the fans put in a lot of money as well, and they don't feel that they're getting that. What's the word? It's been reciprocated back to them, and I've seen a million different views, like even going back to them showing the Europa League final at Ibrox, and what was the other one I seen? At the AGM, nobody asked about the Australian friendly and things like that. All these wee things that we didn't get any answers for. Yeah. But they just constantly want money and want money and want money. And as I was saying to you the other day in our group chat, I was going to join my Gers so I could try and get a season ticket. Basically paying 50 quid for nothing to be on a list. Yeah. It's money for nothing. I understand it goes to the club. And as I say, we've got to try and find these ways, because we'll certainly not get it through TV money in Scotland. But I think that there's got to be a balance. If Rangers are ran well and the fans feel like they're not being taken advantage of or treated like customers, they probably won't mind paying for things. But it's getting to the stage where it's just every single thing the club do, it's give us money. Yeah. Like even the day with the thing with Edmondson House, it was the Parks Motor Group sponsorship and all this kind of stuff, and it's just constantly. Even I think they're sponsoring the training ground as well. And it's always some commercial twist onto things and money, and you're just like it's constant. So that wee bit at the bottom of the website, it's just all these partners, and there's hundreds of them. Yeah.
No, listen, I think you're absolutely right, and I've said for a wee while now that I do feel that the supporters are now being treated like customers again, as opposed to football fans. Yeah. And that, listen, from our perspective as football fans, that's rubbish. However, the football club will always know that we'll be loyal and follow and do all the things that they want us to do and expect us to do. So we'll definitely do that.
But that's the problem, though. The no fans will pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You seen the carry on with the ticket fiasco for people trying to get tickets for the final the other day, and you get absolutely nothing back for the club when there's questions being asked.
Indeed.
And as somebody rightly said as well, we've won 2 trophies in 10 years or whatever it is, 11 years now, but with the amount of money we've paid out in the last 10 years, and if Rangers are winning on the park, fans will give their money, no bother, because they'll see where it's going. But the minute they said that, talk about Raskin today, they see them arguing about just £1 million in modern day football, and I totally agree with it. We'll see where people are coming from with that. We put all this money in, and the Vassy deals and all this, and Joe Aribo money and all that, and they're just constantly asking for more.
Yeah, indeed. Gary, before I let you disappear for your Friday night, give us a wee prediction for tomorrow, will you?
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. Do you think we'll see Cantwell and Hadji, both one or another?
I think it depends on the scoreline when it lasts maybe half hour, 20 minutes. Yeah. I think in a perfect world would be, say, 2-3-0 up, be quarter an hour to go, 20 minutes to go, and then get them both on, get them a proper run out. Same with Kolak as well. Yeah, just depending on the score. But there's more chance of maybe seeing Cantwell if we're looking for a winner than Hadji. I don't think I want to rush Hadji back too much. But I dread that Cantwell hadn't played for November as well, so I might want to break him in gently too.
Yeah, I think the secret with these two guys will be just using them sparingly, but making sure we're getting enough out of them that they're ready. And that's one of
the kind of points Bill made, and it says you can look across the city as well for last year. So if you bring players in now, you don't necessarily need to throw them in because we're forward planning, we're thinking of next season. They're there for a couple of months and then they're ready to hit the ground running come August when we start the season. And Celtic done that last year. We signed a couple of the Japanese guys. They played here and there, but then there've been big players for them this year. So hopefully guys like Cantwell will be like that for us.
Yep, fingers crossed. Listen, Gary, thanks for coming on. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday night and a good weekend, mate.
Same yourself, enjoy Oban.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It is my birthday on Sunday, so I intend to have a few Ribenas, so to speak.
Happy 60th.
Thanks very much. We should say on Sunday night, Colin Armstrong is joined by Ross Bennett and David Fraser from 9:30. If you can join them, please do so. Don't forget you can jump onto our website for all the content that's on there. It's allthews.gersnetonline.co.uk. Thanks to Frankie in the background for doing the direction for us tonight. Good luck to Rangers tomorrow and have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Good night.